Hi, thank you for watching Girls Rock Sewing. Today we're going to talk about how to thread a sewing machine. Although there are many sewing machines on the market, general threading of the machine is pretty basic. The first things you're going to need for threading your machine is a spool of thread, and you're going to need a bobbin. First we're going to take our spool of thread and we're going to put it on our thread holder. Sometimes these are on the side or inside like mine, or they sit along the back and they'll sit straight up and down. To keep my thread in place, I'm going to put on the thread holder. And it's normally a round piece with a hole in it that you just attach to the thread holder. I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to follow the directions. A lot of the machines have numbered directions for threading the machine. There is my 1, so it's telling me to go through 1 and then come down through my 2 middle pieces to 2, down. I have a 3 there with arrow, come back up, and then I have a piece in here. Is called my upper thread lever, but I can't see it, so in order to get my upper thread lever to the up position, I'm going to turn my hand wheel, and then there is my upper thread lever there, and it has a slit in it. It's kind of hard to see, but there is a slit there, and I'm going to take my thread around, hook it into the slit, and then I'm going to come back down. And the upper thread lever was number 4, down to 5, and then I have a silver piece here that I'm going to go behind, and one more little slot there on the back side. And I'm almost complete. Now I have to thread my needle. Now, a lot of machines have an automatic needle threader, such as this one, but some machines do not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread my needle manually. And to get a good point on my thread, I just snip a clean edge, and then my needle eye is facing me. So I'm going to go from the front to the back. Pull my thread back and make sure that it's a straight line from the last lever that I put it through down to the needle. So you want to make sure that your thread is not wrapped around your needle, because that will not sew correctly once you begin to sew. Once I have my needle threaded, then I take it through this slit here on my sewing foot and bring it to the back. Now that we have completed threading the top of our machine, now we're going to go to the bobbin. So the bobbin was pre-made at the top of the machine. Every machine has a bobbin maker. The bobbin maker on this machine sits here, and we'll come back with another video to thread a bobbin. So when we're placing our bobbin into our machine, we're going to make sure that our thread is coming out from the back side of our bobbin, and your actual thread is coming out to the left. On my machine, I have on my bobbin, and this is called a top bobbin, a top drop-in bobbin. I have an arrow there that shows me which way my thread should come out of my machine. So what I'm going to do is drop my bobbin in with my thread still coming out to the left side, and I have 2 notches on inside my bobbin plate. I have one here and I have another one there. So what I'm going to do is follow the arrow, and I'm going to make that one come through the first notch and then out the second. And then I'm going to let my thread hang free out the top and replace my bobbin plate back on. Now I'm going to make my bobbin thread, this thread here, come up from this oval at the bottom. How I do that is I loosely hold my top thread and then I turn my hand wheel until the top thread catches the bobbin thread and I can pull it up through that wheel. So what I'm doing is turning my hand wheel, and that makes my needle go up and down. Turning my hand wheel here, and then over here on my plate you'll see the thread. And if you look through this plate, you'll see the top thread catch my bobbin thread there. And then you'll see it loop. And if you look at the oval underneath, you'll see the loop of thread here, which is my bobbin thread. And how I get that out is I close my nippers so I don't cut through the bobbin thread, and I just stick the point through the loophole and I pull it out. And now I have both my bobbin and my top thread on top. What I want to make sure I do before I begin sewing is make sure my top thread is still between the slit on the sewing foot and both threads are to the back. And you want to make sure they're not too long, so I snip my threads about there to keep them a decent length so that they don't unthread in the machine and that they don't get clogged up in my fabric. And you place them to the back and then you begin sewing. That completes our How to Thread Our Sewing Machine lesson for today. Once again, there are many different types of sewing machines, but if you follow these basic rules on your machine, then threading your machine will be very simple. Thank you for watching Girls Rock Sewing. Happy sewing!